Welcome to Hello Life with Miss Coco Boughton. What's up, guys? It's the weekend, baby. I'm going to try to get through this podcast without, sweating and just getting hot. I took my asthma pump because I knew I was going to be cutting the air off so I could do this podcast to try to hopefully keep some of the noise down. But look, if that air come on, that means that this temperature has reached 80 degrees in this house, which means I'm going to leave it all. Okay, so we're going to do some random cleaning. That's what I'm going to be doing today, just random cleaning. I didn't plan anything out to clean today. I just kind of felt like I got tired of looking at the mess that I saw. So I chose to do my buffet center. It's got all these dressers on it. I mean, it's got a mirror, and this is my cabinet, basically. We're not cleaning out the cabinet, but we are cleaning the cabinet off because, as you know, through the weekday, when we don't want to hold something, we say put it on the cabinet. I don't know about y'all, but I do. I'll be like, put it over there, put it over there. As long as it's not bothering me, put it over there. And I don't know what I'm eating tonight. It's going to be a late lunch for me. Late dinner for me because I have not put anything out to cook, and it's the weekend, and who cares? As long as I get something in my belly. Alright, so this counter over here gets abused a lot because when things aren't going right, they come right over here and get the set up. Yeah. They get the setup over here. Yep. I was laying down. I actually just woke up and gained a little energy for the day. All day I've been kind of tired. And I just woke up and I decided this was something that I wanted to do. And what was on my mind when I woke up was how people just really try to cause offenses. It was on my mind too that Michael Miller case is still going, and there's still a lot of people trying to figure out what happened to Michael Miller. And they are saying that she was a victim of gang stalking, which I don't put it past. All the signs are there, all the, everything you need to know. If you know about gang stalking, then you know it when you see it. It's not something the average eye would see. I have several stories I can give you on what it looks like, but until it actually happens to you, you're going to be like, oh, that fool is just crazy, delusional. There's nothing. I was there the whole time. I ain't seen nothing out of the ordinary. And you won't see nothing. See, that's the whole thing about it. You're not going to never see anything out of the ordinary until you just sit there for a while and you're like, what? Once you see how everybody is programmed, then that's when it kicks in that, hey, something isn't right. Why are these people all doing the same thing? Well, it's because they all had the same agenda. And that is to harass the person that they are there for, that they are stalking. Now, I usually don't like talking about that because on my other station, that's all I talked about. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be talking about it like that. But it was on my mind today. Because I know some of the things that I go through, and it messes with your mind. And the reason why I brought it up because of the cleaning side of things here. When you go through that type of harassment, getting energy up just to get through the day, let alone just get out of the bed, because it's more to gang stalking than just a bunch of people following you around. Because they're going to follow you. Yes, they're going to follow you, but it's more to it than that. This is psychological torture, and if you know how depression makes you feel, this is beyond depression. You know what? I don't think I've even seen in the DSM-5 book what this would really be called, because there's no information on it. There's not enough information out there for people to know what it really is. So I don't even think, I just don't think that people have a clue as to what it is and what they are really doing to people. And other people know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing to you. And they know why they're doing it. They're doing it on purpose. All right, there goes that air. We're going to leave it on. But having scientific understanding of that is something that has not came out yet in the world of psychology. Because in order for gang stalking to work, to be efficient, you need psychology to agree with what the harassers are saying. And that means that whoever agrees with this, they got to go against everything that they signed up for. Yes, they do. They got to go against their oaths. Brotherhood has to go against the brotherhood oath. Because if the brotherhood get caught, if first responders get caught, I don't know how this happens. Like a whole bag of taters I may have to throw away. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be any more good. Just got these taters and they already bad. Yeah, so it goes against what science knows. Except for those who know what science knows. Except for those who doesn't know what science knows. Now, for me, when I started encountering this thing, this phenomenon, or however you say it, I can't pronounce that word. I don't even know why I tried to say that. But when I started encountering this, it was nothing that I could read up on about it. Nothing. Since then, it was a few things on Reddit and Quora. I think that's how you pronounce it, Quora. It was a few things on there that was, what people would say that they would do. But the thing about that is, the people who usually were talking on there were part of the harassment teams. And that's the part that gets people, is that you have to be cautious that who you talk to is not part of that harassment team. That harassment team is made up of your family members. It's made up of your friends. What is that? Oh, that's that chicken. It's made up of your lovers. It's made up of doctors, CEOs, anybody, any business. Just about every business is signed up for this program. Do they know what they're doing? I would say yeah. You gotta know. You got to know. Ain't nobody in this world that slow that they don't know if a person shows up to the store and then all of a sudden you got 20, 30 people or even down to 10 people show up at the same time that you're there. And it doesn't just happen one time, but you're taking part of this all the time. You're one of the ones that show up. When they say show up, you are on the scene. You got to know that you are psychologically part of torture and harassment. So it's a guy called Flo on TikTok. He talks about this, and more people know about gang stalking than you think. They know what community mobbing is. They just are part of it, and that's why they don't talk about it. Because for a long time, this thing was not made in the public eye. You saw people going crazy, and you just thought, well, they just crazy. They just crazy in the back. But now people are getting smart. It's not because of me either. Because I can't tell you about it like they can. But they are learning more and more of what gang stalking is. How does all these cups get dirty like this? This is crazy. Yep. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I heard one guy, how I knew that they were talking about me one time was because the guy said, wow, she's such a nice lady. But, if once you in it, once they throw your name out there, and there's no redemption from society or the public for it. But I guarantee you, if you would get to know who Jesus is, all right. If you would just get to know who Jesus is, what that public say and do, yeah, it's going to hurt you. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself, make you feel bad about every decision that you've ever made. It's going to bring the past to you, and it's going to try to predict your future. The best thing you can do is keep trusting God no matter what. Even in this program, there are people who are going to pretend like they are preachers. And, the sad part about it is they are preachers. But you can tell they ain't chosen. You can tell they're not called. Because they look just like what they are. Whatever you picture a demon to look like, that's what a lot of these people look like. Their eyes go fixed. See, they talk about and brag about how they do the person whose name is blacklisted. They brags about that. And they laugh about it. And they get payouts for it. But they don't realize the psychological damage that is happening to them. From what I have observed, when some of them get around, they change up. It's almost like a multiple personality thing, except for it's more of brainwashing. They don't even realize that they're just as much brainwashed as the person that they are brainwashing and putting fear in. This better not be Shaka Khan. That is Shaka Khan on there. What? Where did I get this from? I don't know where this calendar come from. Family First Home Care. Dang, if I would have known these pictures was on here, I could have put some of these pictures up in my room. But this, that ain't no good now. But yes, that stinks. Y'all, I'm gonna spray a little bit now that I've got this cleaned off. What I need. Actually, I needed my I'm gonna tell y'all about the psychological damage they do to themselves in just a moment. But let me pick up a few more items that's on here on this floor. Y'all, this stuff just jumped down. We're gonna talk about. Okay, so what they don't see is how they're actually programmed too. See, they go through training themselves of how to manipulate people, not realizing that the moment they signed up for the program was a manipulating program for them. They better be fearful, because they get worse than what they get done worse than what I get done. Because there's a lot of things in the back of this thing of gang stalking that people don't realize. Because there's torture that you have to do, and this torture is psychological and it's physical. Now, the person who's doing the torturing does not have a clue that they just signed up for the program. To see if in order to see if the program is working, they needed people who were willing to go in undercover and do these tricks to others. So they are part of the program themselves. The only difference is they get paid. They become perps and they get perks. Now, how does that differ from what the pay of the person who is getting tortured? You see, the person who's getting tortured, they get paid too. They just don't tell you when you get it. You just got to pay attention to how they disperse things to you. They will have certain people already on scene ready to accommodate your needs. And you'll be like, well, how did I get this? Oh, God, I didn't think I was going to be able to get this. So either way it goes, the perp and also the victim, well, we're all victims, to be honest. We're all victims. It's not just raining on me, and it's not just not raining on me. We're all victims. And we have always been victims for a long time, since the beginning of slavery, really. But hold on, let me say this. Let me clarify this. We are all parts of, hold up, y'all, let me spray right quick. Gotta get these bugs. Okay. We are all part of some type of chain. Whatever part of the chain you're trying to be part of, that's on you. It's on you. If you choose to be the good guy, good. We need more good guys. If you choose to be the bad guy, you know what? We're going to learn from you. Technology is going to learn from you. The government is going to learn from you. The people who set these attacks out, they're going to learn from you. And they are victims themselves. So it's a whole society of victims among victims, among victims, among victims. And you just fall wherever you identify with. Now, that's the real name of it, is a victim. But if you are a believer in Christ today, then you can stand, even though you are, part of this offensive generation. God has a plan. And we must stay in his holy plan. Not the plan that the government has made. Not the plan that, people who sign up for things like targeted justice. You really got to be careful for what you're signing up for. Because some of you are signing yourself right into the pit of hell. There is no redemption from a reprobated mind. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. I have seen, and I'm going to tell you this. It's not that I got to tell you, but it's been on my mind for a while. I have seen those who have showed up in my face to harass and abuse me, make me feel bad about myself, or hurt me to a point where I come home, I'm not able to get up and clean my house like I used to. It didn't just happen over time. Overnight. It happened because people were doing things that I was unaware of at the time. Now, when they don't want you to know what they're doing, they're not going to tell you. But when they come out in the open and show you, the first time I realized that it was happening to me, the guy wanted me to know. They'll let you know when it's time for you to know what they are doing, because they want to put that fear in you. But I'm on, okay, let me slow it down a minute. Let me slow it down, honey, because I can take off with it. But the last 3 years, I noticed the difference in how people were treating me. I noticed how family was treating me. It didn't stop me from loving them. It didn't stop me from helping them. I noticed how church people started treating me. And then I had to realize, wait a minute, I've seen this somewhere before. I've seen this type of behavior before. And I really had. You know where I've seen it before? This was the same thing that happened to slaves. This is how slavery was. This is how lynching was. They were lynching people back in slavery days. Well, the lynching didn't stop. They just found a different way to do it. People who are in these programs and people who are targeted in these programs are really treated the same way. They just give us different roles. Even I am in a role right now. I am the role better known as the subject. Investigative subject. That's who I am. And to the ones who work in these programs, they think they are doing the community a service when they don't realize you're doing your community a disservice, because you're allowing people to come in and dictate how you are supposed to treat people. So if you believe in the Bible, and if you're not really a true strong believer in the Bible, Uh-oh. If you really don't believe in God, or if you is just playing, this game is going to tear you up. What they're doing is going to tear you up. Now, I really cannot clean like that. I really cannot walk like that. As much as I would love to get up and be able to walk and you know, just I would love to feel and be my old self. But you know what stops it? Is the torturing part. The part where they torture. It hurts. It disfigures you. They know how to do all that. They just hurt every part. So that's how I got to the point where I couldn't clean up. Spraying y'all. I got to the point where I couldn't clean up because I was hurting too bad. I'm still hurting. This morning I woke up, got up out of my bed, took my little steroids. Y'all know steroids make you fat, make you gain weight, make you hungry. Okay, y'all, I'm done with that side. That's why I went on and sprayed. Whew, we might go outside while that spray is doing this thing. Yeah. Ooh. I done broke a sweat too. Oh yeah. Ooh, y'all, it's pretty out here. But we're still talking about Hello Life podcast. So I kind of just broke down part of the reasons why I am more disabled now than I was before in my life. And that's part of the reason why my home is not clean the way I would like for it to be. And it's actually my reason to keep going, keep striving, keep fighting, not giving up. Oh, y'all. Did I mention it's hot? When you start taking parts in, and you know, for people like me who are put into these programs unwillingly, you know, I didn't sign up to be in this program. But somebody signed me up for it. Somebody who had knowledge of this program in our area signed me up for it. And ever since then, emotionally, it took a lot out of me. And that's what I'm talking about, the emotional side of things. But sometimes you just got to get the backstory in order to understand. The emotional side of things put me in a position where my physical health has went down. The physical side of things that they do to you, that they probably don't even mention, but they probably pay people to watch and laugh about, that put me down. I'm always hurting. I just, you know, and let me be careful how I use that word always, because I don't want to attach that to me. But I'm hurting most days. I do hurt. Most days I do have trouble getting out of bed. For the first time in my life, I've never had to grab a wall to help me get out of my bed. And I did. All this week, I've had to grab a wall and then stand there for a little bit. Just stand there for a little bit because my knee pain was so bad. I've never done that. So these people, they don't stop. They keep going. So you would probably ask, so how do they damage you? How do they get you to the place where you can't clean, where your mind can't focus on cleaning? Well, it's complicated. It's a complicated battle that unless you have understanding to it, yeah, it's complicated. But how they have managed to get me to the place where I couldn't clean, where there's a such thing as fear, and they can scare the life right out of you. And for that first year, the life was scared right out of me. Not complete life, because I had this little small mustard seed of faith. So those of you that are listening out there, don't give up on your faith now. Keep your faith in God, even if it's only a little piece. Hold on to that faith in God, knowing that He can bring you through. anything that you're going through, knowing that he can restore. See, that's where I'm standing at. I'm standing on his promises right now. Rainbow sign, where you at? Y'all, it's muggy out here. But I'm standing on his promises right now. I know y'all hear these cicadas and things. Yeah. But my little faith in God was enough to move a mountain. Because if I had not put my faith and trust in God, I wouldn't be able to get up despite the pain that I'm in and go. Now, some people say the pain is psychologically. And I do agree that you can actually have a psychological pain that feels like a physical pain, but it's all in your mind. Now, I went through that phase when it first started happening to me. I went through that phase. But then when I started really swelling up, legs started swelling up, and I started really having physical bruises. That's when I realized that, hey, this thing is not psychological anymore. This thing is physical. This thing is real. It's not just in my head anymore. Anything that I'm thinking is coming to pass. This is real. And you would have to go and understand how technology works with the brain, and how now, not only can scientists read or think what you're saying, but so can our phones. Our phones are our number one source of how people get to know us. Now, if you don't have a phone, if you don't have a phone or a computer, any of that, it makes it harder to get to them. But if you rely on technology, oh, buddy, they can read your mind. Well, hold up. They can read close to what you're thinking, because the Bible says nobody can read your mind. So they can read close to what you're thinking and predict. They can predict what you are thinking, but they don't have it all together. Yeah, they say in these technologies, I have people where they can move certain things with their mind, or they can think something in the computer or go and do it for them. But the computer is not 100%. You hear me? So what the computer might relate back to them may not be what's actually what. That's kind of like some of these medical equipments. They can put numbers in there, and then next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, I got high blood pressure. Yeah, you got high blood pressure. Because they can put in if it can be made, it can be adjusted, and it can be played with. Okay? So when this physical pain started coming and hitting me, that's what took me down from cleaning up. That's what took me down from thinking that, hey, now I can have my home, I can get my home worked on the way I want. And it tied right in there with sciatic nerve trouble. One thing that you're going to notice about people who are targeted individuals, they end up on canes. They can go from, never had to use a cane in their life, and all of a sudden you see all these people with canes that are targeted individuals. You see them now. The ones that are like me, who didn't used to have to use pain meds, now we got to use pain meds because our bodies are hurting. And when our bodies hurt, that prevents us from cleaning. Because I told you I just took 2 steroids that I had laying around. I had it from something else. Anyway, I was like, I got to try to do something so I can move. But this is how you make drug addicts. This is exactly how you make drug addicts. So I can say surely that after today, I probably would not take any more of the steroids for a while. See if I want to get it down just enough where the swelling down just enough where I can work on it and, do some exercises and some little light therapy to it on my own. That's what I want to do, because right now I have been taking the pills now for this knee for a whole month. And I do not want to become no addict. And so I got to back off of the pill thing. I've been there before. I know what popping pills will do for you. It don't do nothing but mess up your liver, your kidneys. Our bodies aren't made to cleanse. Our kidneys aren't made to cleanse this toxin up out of us. Our liver. Yeah. So they know how to get us in the position where we feel defeated. And many of you may feel defeated on today because your body is in a certain condition and you can't clean the bathroom like you used to. You can't mop the floor like you used to. It used to be a time you get up and clean, as soon as you make a mess. And now, because of health conditions, you can't get up and clean because you made a mess. Now you got to sit down a little while before you go to the next task or before you finish the task. And guess what? That's all right. That's all right, that if that's what you got to do. If that's what you got to do to keep going, that's all right. I saw my daddy. My daddy suffered with back pain. And he toted jugs and jugs of water across these fields. And he didn't stop. Now, he did have the back pain. But the one thing that kept him going was he didn't stop. He didn't stop. And he always told us, no matter what you go through, no matter what pains start to hit you, don't stop moving. So that's the goal here at Hello Life, is to not stop moving even when we are feeling in our worstest pain. Don't stop moving. Don't stop. Don't stop moving. That is my goal that I want to encourage to all of you, is to not stop moving because you are having these joint pains. I can tell you from experience that when you stop moving, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. It got to a point, I think I went probably 4 to 6 months, and I didn't really do much of anything because of the pain. And if y'all been listening to this podcast, you have heard me walk around huff and puff. And the whole month of April and May, it was like trying to get back focused and started. It was hard. My breathing was so horrible. Every little step was a big gulp of air. So you're not alone. And when I look at myself today cleaning like 2 months later, I'm like, wow, this is a lot different from what it was when I first started. Now, is the house any better? The house is a little better, but to be honest, cleaning is like a every day or every other day thing, or every week, a weekly thing. If you got grandkids like I do, they come in and they eat, they make a mess, we make a mess together, and some days we leave it, and then other days we do clean up behind ourselves. And it's a lesson that we all have to learn. It's not just me, but it's anybody that comes in contact with me, that we all have to learn that if we make the mess, we need to go ahead and, deal with it right then if we can. On the other hand, if we make the mess and we got back pains, it may not get cleaned up till in the morning. But as long as we know that we got to clean it up and clean it up within a timely manner, I would say I'm giving myself whatever I put down, it's got to get back up within 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 business days, and I want to get that out of sight. That's like my counter in there. That's why I named this random cleaning, because I was sitting there, I looked at that counter all week long, and y'all, it was disturbing my mind so bad. Oh, that counter was like, it was aggravating. It was stressful, because when I see cluttered areas, it stresses me out a little bit now. In my home, that is. I ain't talking about y'all home or whatever business you got. I'm not talking about y'all. So don't everybody go at one time cluttering up your offices so I can see it, okay? Here for me, that one area was distracting. Every day I came in, I looked at it, but I didn't do nothing about it. So this afternoon when I woke up, I was like, you know what? Let's do something about this. And I did. And it's cleaned off. I just got to go wipe it down now. I put the things that were left on it in order as good as I could. But I'm just happy that I did something. And now, y'all, it's time for me to go. And I hope that this podcast gives you something to think about, that before you judge somebody's home, before you sit back and say, oh, now I know they can do better than that. Or I know she got children. Them children ought to be helping her, or them grandchildren ought to help her more. Before you judge, understand that when you are a victim of gang stalking, we don't want to be around nobody. Those who know how the family members can turn on you, We don't want to be around people like that. We want to be around you for a select moment. And then after that select moment, we want to be by ourselves. If you are an introvert, you know what I'm talking about. Once I catch hold of what people are doing to me, or how they're trying to talk funny or throw slang at me, or trying to act like okay, some things I do be slow to waking up to, but then when I wake up to it, it's like, did they just really say that? And then I'm like, oh no, I don't care to be around them. I don't need to be around people who play roles in my life. I'm talking about these fake roles, these actor roles, whether you're a family member or a friend, co-worker, whoever you are. That's not my game. That's y'all's game. See, that's the difference between the world and godly people, is that the game that's being played right now on humanity, that's the world's game. That's not God's plan for my life. That's why I don't take part of it. That's why when I see people with the foolishness, I have to let them be foolish. You know, the 5 wise and the 5 foolish, I have to let them be foolish. If that's where you choose to use your all in hurting others, bringing others down, or criticizing, or trying to play mind games with others, that's your all getting used up. So what you going to have for yourself when your troubles come? Because if you part of this game, your troubles is going to come. They not doing this just to me. They doing this to you too, because they want to see how your reaction is too. They want to see what makes you move. Huh? They want to know what propaganda can they start that will make you move. What incentives make you move? Is it new lawnmowers? Is it cash prizes? Is it gift cards? What makes you move to do the things you do? What drives you? And as soon as they realize what drives you, they coming for you too. They already got you. They just need to know how to bring you down. Now, I was telling a story earlier in there that I forgot what I was saying, but now it came back around to me, so I guess it's meant for me to tell it before I get off of here. I sat back and I watched those same people who were gang stalking me, community mobbing me, grabbing their private parts when they would walk around me. I watched women walking around holding their breast in front of me. I watched women covering up, acting like they were playing with themselves underneath covers. And by the way, if a woman does choose to pleasure herself, that's between her and God. Not between you and you. And the fact that you got the nerve to be looking and listening to what that woman is doing, you're a sick individual. She's in her natural habitat. She's in her naturalness. Because we all got things that need working on. Anyway, let me stay focused. Anyways, some of the same people I saw that was trying to make me feel fearful are no longer in this world. They are 6 feet under. The game they were playing that was supposed to take me out first, it got them first. It got them. The heart attacks they were trying to give me, they had. The strokes they were trying to give me, they had. The overdoses they were trying to give me, they had. Some are still living and they're suffering with the consequences of their actions. You do not have to do everything that you see somebody else doing. You do not have to participate in these type of programs against humanity. You don't have to participate in this because you know that you're going to reap what you sow. And why do you call yourself a child of God if you don't believe God to change people? If you don't believe that God is love? Because harassing people, community mobbing people is not love. It's just what it is. You mobbing somebody. You showing up like mafia. You showing up like y'all the gangsters. That's why it's called gang stalking, because it's more than 2 people who's doing any harassment at one time. But I looked at that thing and I looked at that thing and I said, Lord, have mercy. Some people would walk by me and it was like I had this feeling to pray for them. Actually, it's an unction. That's what we call it in the spirit. I had an unction to pray for them. And I did. I said, Lord, please save them. Show them a better way in this life. Forgive them. Anytime I'm harassed, I ask God to forgive them and have mercy on them, because hell is a lot worse than this. And because I know they're miserable. I know they're miserable living like that. Especially them that work 9 to 5 jobs or 12 hours a day, and then you get off and you got to come stalk somebody. Yeah. But still, having said all that, it does still take a toll on people like me. Only thing I can tell myself is keep God first. Be thankful. Be grateful. You can't stop what they doing, but you can pray. You can be thankful. You can call out the things that God has done. You can still have a vision for your life. You can still take care of your health. You can do these things. I've had some guys that had actually told me how to get through this. And I wondered, how do they know? How do they know? I said they must have been a victim too, or either they was part of the crew who was doing the stalking, because sometimes people be like, oh man, I didn't know they were doing all this behind closed doors. I signed up for this program to be a mystery shopper, but I didn't know that they were hurting people physically and emotionally behind this, and it becomes too much for them. And then they unalive themselves because it's too much for them to know that they have caused so much harm to another human being. A human being, not a being. My bad. But seriously, we got to do better as people. And all of this goes back to politics. Now, I may do a run. No, I'm not going to do a run. I was going to do a run, but I don't think I will. I'll wait till tomorrow if I do. I'm not going to tell y'all what that run was right now. All right, so that spray ought to be cleared out. Y'all, if you got bugs, ready to get them. As soon as you spray them and hit them, they gone. Only downside is if you got breathing issues, it sometimes can work with you. I'm no longer ashamed of my bugs. Well, let me take that back. They're not my bugs, but the bugs people place in here. I just have to keep doing what I can do. And to let shame override me because there are bugs in this home, I'm not going to do that. Because I know I didn't put them here. That's the difference. When you know that it wasn't anything of your fault that caused this to be like this, and you know where you are, you know what you were trying to do, you can't let it beat you down like that. I beat myself down thinking that I was the reason for this, and I mean, all of a sudden I realized that I'm not the reason for a lot of these things that's going on. Yeah, sure, like the trash on the floor here and there. Yeah, some of that is mine, some of it ain't, but some of it is. And when these people come into your house, because that's the thing about gang stalkers too, they come into your house every night. I can't think of not one day that nobody came in my home that I know of. But they come in and they leave little signals to let you know that they have been here. And sometimes the signal that they'll leave will be something out of place or too much of something. You never know what you're going to get. So that's why I say, in order to keep from being double-minded and wishy-washy and leaning to the left and leaning to the right with emotions concerning what's going on in your life, if you are a victim of this, keep your eyes for it. Keep your eyes for it on the things of God. And let God allow the Holy Spirit to lead and guide you and to keep you through it all. That's what I could give to you. Just let God be God. And you be the son or daughter that you are. And obey his commandments. It's better to be obedient than to sacrifice. And so many people are sacrificing who they really are for this fake them. I be looking at a lot of people that I, go to church around and schools. It's sad because they don't see the misery in their life. Because you got to be miserable, right? You got to be miserable and broke if you are harassing somebody for money, for incentives. You got to have a miserable life yourself. Your home probably not as clean. Or, you may got some disabilities because they don't care who they get to do these jobs for them, y'all. It can be disabled people. It can be well-minded people. So don't think you're just going to find any one type of person doing this. It's all kind of walks of life. It's even people that you wouldn't even think they'd be doing. Some people don't even know what they're doing. But they do it because, hey, it's money involved. What the heck? Get paid. Get paid. I said I was going to go, y'all. I got to go. I'm hungry. We'll talk about this another time, but this is how it goes down here in Candor, North Carolina. You just got to keep going. But peace, love, and happiness. It's always a pleasure to come share with my cleaning disasters and my dirty home file chronicles with y'all. It's going to get better. My home is going to be spotless. It's going to be without a wrinkle. It's going to be beautiful. Because here is where God comes. This is where God is. So I got to take care of it to the best of my knowledge, despite what goes on around me. Take care, y'all.